Hi, you guys! I think we've all seen enough regular how-to French and Dutch braid hair tutorials, so hopefully in this video you will get some tips that aren't in all those other videos out there. So something that I think I do that's different is the way that I add in hair to my braids. I want to add in hair, not from the bottom like I am right there first, but from the top, the part line, like I am right there. So when I cross under my hair, like doing that very first stitch, I will cross under the piece that's nearest my part line. That makes it so the rest of the way down the braid, I'm always adding in hair from the part line first. I like to do it this way because if I add from the hairline, like near my face first, I tend to grab way too much hair in that add in. And then when I go to add in hair from the part line, I don't have that much hair left. So that just solves that problem for me. When I get near the end of my braid, I want to make sure I keep my braid tight and my chin down at my chest, so then I can really get the braid as tight as possible. And then that last bit of hair, I always want to add it in, even if it's at the part line, to the hair that's on my hairline near my face. That way, that last braid that you can see, it wraps around and just locks all that hair in. And I find it makes a tighter braid than if I'm adding hair in near the part line for like the last stitch of adding in hair. Then after a couple stitches, bring it around to the front. Don't do it right away. That will give you a saggy braid. Something I think about is trying to start in the same place and go back at the same angle. So every so often when I'm gathering hair in, I'll stop and look, and like especially look down from the top and like evaluate, is this the same way? Am I drooping down too much or going up too much? Because when you're doing it on someone else's head, it's easier to match, but on your own it can be harder. So sometimes I look in the mirror and it's like, okay, is it going the right way? Good. Or if I don't have a mirror, or sometimes I'm just thrown off by the mirror, I will close my eyes and feel where this one is. And then as I'm doing it, I think, and I'll like pause and feel, I'm like, am I in the same spot on the other side of my head? And sometimes doing it by how it feels on your head can help you have them more even. If you don't like the look of Dutch braids going back, like I have that other braid, if you think it looks maybe a little schoolgirlish, or you just prefer the way this frames your face, here's just another idea of a placement for a Dutch braid. Honestly, you can do them however you want, but this one is a great one, especially if you have trouble without being able to see the braid. Like if it helps to be able to see the braid while you're doing it, this is a great placement for that braid. Here you see me manipulating my hair, so I make sure to end on adding all the hair in to the piece near my face rather than my part line. So sometimes you just need to take a tiny section in order to have the right size at the end. Now that I've taken that one out, that was just an example of an easier way to practice Dutch braids, or another way to do it if you have like thinner hair in this side, you can still do a Dutch braid and it hides that part. So it's really nice. But I will show you how I match the braids, but I'll do a French braid for you. To me, French braids are harder on yourself just because of the way your fingers move. So in a Dutch braid, you're just scooping under. But in a French braid, you're taking it over, which, I mean, everyone's probably familiar with. But this, at the beginning, it's not so bad. I loop it on my thumb and then hook the piece that I'm joining it to and kind of use my thumb and hand to separate the hair as I cross it over. I hope that makes sense. I'll show you here. Okay, so I pinch it, I grab the piece like normal, and so I have the piece I'm bringing in on my finger. So instead of trying to grab, sometimes when I'm trying to grab, I'll drop that hair by accident. So what I've taken to doing is just dropping it onto the finger that I have scooped up the piece with. So then I can smooth it out and separate the hair. I'll show you again here. But I do it with my thumb on the top because my thumb has scooped the hair. So, well, I just did that in a dumb way, sorry. So I scoop the hair and then I scoop up the piece I'm actually joining to and then place it in the middle finger instead of the middle finger coming across and grabbing, because I've noticed when I do that, I like grab a lot of extra hair and it starts to look messy and crazy and I don't like it. So I scoop it, I line up my finger and drop it on. So now everything I need is all in one place. And I kind of just grip it and see how I'm like separating the hairs that want to come but aren't supposed to. Then that's a clean grab and I can take those other ones away. So that's really the only tip I have that's different for French braid as opposed to Dutch braid, is just kind of starting the separation before you place the hair that you're adding into technically where the hair is supposed to go. I hope that makes sense because I feel like the way I'm saying it is not making sense. Okay, so while I've been doing it, I haven't talked about it, but I've been kind of glancing at the mirror. So see how you can look and see, okay, these are kind of going the same way. If I was holding my hand down, I would notice, oh, I need to hold it up a little more to make it match where this is going. So right about the top of my ear, I start to curve down. So in a couple of more, I will start curving down. It's just kind of, it depends on your preference and the shape of your head and stuff. But right about where my ear is, like right about there, then I think, okay, now we'll start aiming down. And then at this point, instead of picking up, I want to make sure I have the part line right, like I'm not missing a lot of hair. So I just kind of slide over and then it's a scoop. So then I scoop up that other hair. Maybe you can see better now. Stick my thumb in between and spread it out so it's a clean grab, and then take those sticky hairs away. So I hope that helps. If you guys have any other problems that I'm not addressing, just let me know and I'd be happy to help. So then I can also start from the part and spread my hands out. So this one is actually more towards the part line than this one. So I can adjust a little bit, at least at the bottom. And instead of going more this way, I can rotate my hand a little this way. So I was pulling too much. Feel it again. That's more even. So then I fixed it. So it might be a little off up at the top, but at the bottom it'll look even. And so you won't notice this part as much. But basically, that's all I got for you. Okay, I'm going to do this one the opposite way of like what I've been showing you with this, just to show you what I mean. Like if I bring the last hair in from this side rather than this side of my braid, I'll show you how it tends to get puffy throughout the day. So I'll leave this in today like this, and I'll show you at the end of the day what it looks like. Because I can tighten it and do everything and it starts to look fine. But by the end of the day, it just does a weird puff that I don't like. I will show you guys after work. It is like 10:45 in the morning, something like that. I work after lunch today. All right, and because I'm still at camp, I don't have a really good setup for seeing myself, so I kind of did this blind. So it's like, yeah, braids don't have to look perfect, but I couldn't really see what I was doing. But this gives you a good example. You can still do it without looking, and you might get like a little bit of bagginess there. You could just bobby pin that up if you like it tight. Like right here, I didn't love how this wasn't taken back. And you could also fix that with a bobby pin, but I'm going to be wearing a cowboy hat today, so I'm not really gonna mess with it. It's fine. So I will wear one French braid and one Dutch braid. And this one is done my regular tight way, and this one is done the way where it gets loose on my hair anyway. And I will show you at the end of the day how these hold up. I don't have product in that would like help the hair stay in my braids. I just put a hair mask on and some argan oil on my hair last night after I showered and just let it dry as I slept. And that's it. All right, see you guys later. Here you go. I almost forgot. Here is the before, the finished product before I go to work. So you can see they sit a little differently just because one's Dutch and one's French, but it's close enough that it's not a big deal. I'll wear it like this just for you guys. Hey, it's after work. This is me saying I have to do all of this voiced over because I'm at camp and there are kids in the bathroom next to me, and it would be weird if I was talking to a video camera. All right, you can see my hair held in pretty nicely, just regular fuzz from wearing a hat and being active and rowdy all day. My layers popped out, but that's not a big deal. You can see, like I was talking about, it got really loose and saggy right there. But my other side, where I brought it in the other way, it did not get loose and saggy. And here's just a better view for you. I had to give it a filter to make it light enough to see my hair. But I hope you get the idea, and maybe this tip will help you have not saggy braids. Let me know if it helps. Here's just a better view of how much my layers popped out of my braids. If I wanted to, I could have put product in and maybe some bobby pins to keep them in place, but I did not really care today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell. We'll see you later.